On a cold Monday night at Lambeau Field, the Packers are still favored to win this game despite Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft on the IR and a litany of injuries to the wide receiver position with the Philadelphia Eagles fresh off a bye. So I ask you, what could possibly go wrong? You're watching The Perfect Lineup, where Josh Engleman and myself, Dave Loughran, try and take down a tournament with one of the beauties that we build in this here video. We've got a Showdown edition tonight. Green Bay Packers hosting the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. And as always, this is how we do it. I build the core, lay the foundation, send it over to Josh to run through the single lineup sims with varying degrees of randomness and see what comes out and see what builds look best. Now, I will say, keep an eye on the injuries for today. I'm recording this. It's around noon Eastern time, but we do have several notable players questionable for the Green Bay Packers, could play a big role in how this slate ends up shaping up later on in the night. But this will put us on the right track to see the right direction that we need to be going. As always, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And if you want a free week of the NFL Sims Max, all you got to do is leave a comment down below. Let us know who you think's win this game and by how much. So essentially, you think the Eagles win by 3. You say Eagles by 3. You think Packers by 6. Packers by 6. Not the full score, just the team and how much they win by. Let's get into it. All right, perfect lineup number 1. We're going to get a little weird at first, and then we'll get a little less weird. And then the third build I actually like quite a lot. My hope is that one sims out the best, so be sure to stick around for that. First one, all right, so there's a lot of ways you could go at captain. Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, look, Jordan Love, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, so to speak. But I want to try a Christian Watson captain lineup. Why? Well, we don't know if Savion Williams is going to play. Dontavian Wicks has been limited in practice, and Matthew Golden practiced in a limited capacity on Thursday and then didn't practice at all on Friday. Real possibility here that Christian Watson is not limited anymore. He played 66% of snaps last week after 55 or 56% the week before, which was his first game of the season. So he's trending in the right direction. You could see him out there for a lot. His ADOT is 23 on 8 targets through the first couple games. He's going to get targeted downfield. It's a tough matchup. You may see more Cooper DeJean outside as well now that the Eagles brought in Michael Carter. And of course, you got Jalen Phillips, who they just traded for, who has some history with Vic Fangio in Miami. But here's the only thing that matters. It is a showdown slate. Christian Watson has slate breaking upside, make or break style of player. He could give us 2 fantasy points tonight, or he could give us 22. And in a weird freezing cold game, I have real interest in taking a shot on Christian Watson. I prefer him more at captain than I do at flex, because if he sucks, the lineup's cooked. If not, I don't think a lot of people are going to be going here, and it's going to open a lot up for us in the remainder of the lineup. So we're going to flex Jordan Love in this one, and we're going to flex Saquon Barkley as well and run it at 10% randomness.
I am very nervous about the path that we take when we build these lineups today, because Loughy's just not going to be impartial here. This is his team, and I got to deal with what he wants a little bit, and we'll see where that takes us, because I'm team Pack for this one. We're going with Christian Watson in the captain spot for the first lineup. He also gave us Jordan Love. Obviously, that pairing makes a ton of sense. Watson, by the way, barely owned in the captain spot, so that's going to be helpful for us. And then we also add Saquon Barkley, unsurprising, confirmed good at football. That leaves us $19,900 remaining. 3 spots left to fill, and Loughy has us using 10% randomness here. I'm going to click complete this lineup to get those 3 plays, and I'm going to cross my fingers that we get a bunch of Packers. Look, if I'm going to run a 4-2 Packers stack, if it's Hurts and Barkley that I have, I'm cool with that. Watson, McManus, Hurts, Love, Barkley, and the Green Bay Packers defense. We have $100 left on the table, 80 projection, 199 ownership. Now it's time to do the goods. We're going to click Run Lineup Simulation to find out how good this first lineup looks. Is it a great start? No. Is it a good start? Yes. 20% sim ROI, 0.2% chance to win, 25.5% cash rate. No surprise that cash rate is lower. The direct comparison for cash rate is going to be ownership in the captain spot. Because when you're wrong there and they're not owned, you are losing out to everybody else. So that's why we see this so low. There's still upside, but when it doesn't work for Watson, it's not going to work for the lineup.
Perfect lineup number 2. We got to captain Josh Jacobs in at least one of these, because with the laundry list of injuries to this wide receiving core, and of course, Tucker Kraft on the season-ending IR, they may honestly look to go heavy Josh Jacobs today. And the Eagles have had some holes in their run game. Now, I wouldn't be surprised either if the Eagles look to negate some of that pass rush with Micah Parsons and an overall great secondary in Green Bay and run the ball heavily as well. You know, you could see a big workload for Barkley today. It's going to be very cold as well. I love the idea to going Jacobs captain, who we were a little bit worried last week about that calf injury, thought maybe Emmanuel Wilson would get more work, but Jacobs ended up having a lot of carries, averaged over 5 yards per attempt, and was also targeted 5 times in the passing game. He can get it done both on the ground, and while it may not be to the same degree as a Jahmyr Gibbs or a Christian McCaffrey, he can do it through the air as well. So I like the captain spot here for Josh Jacobs. If this does, in fact, end up being a weird sluggish game, which I think is possible, 45-point total is not that high, 28 degrees at kickoff with a little bit of wind, Josh Jacobs may, in fact, just be in for a very big workload, and I'd like to capitalize on that with him at the captain spot in some of these. I want to run it on the other side with Barkley, though, because if this ends up just being the way the game is played, then there's no reason the Eagles aren't also going to force feed Saquon Barkley, and we're going to flex Brandon McManus here. Why? Why not? Having Josh Jacobs in a weird style of game that could potentially be low scoring with Brandon McManus, I understand there's some uncertainty and controversy swirling around Green Bay with him not being 100% and not kicking well, but Matt LaFleur said he'd be out there today, and it's a kicker. What do we know, right? So I like this build. We're going to give Josh the opportunity to add 3 more when we round this lineup out and see how it fares. We'll run it on 0% randomness. Maybe we'll get something good.
No randomness for lineup number 2, but we are starting positively with the Packers once again. Thank you for that, Dave Loughran. Josh Jacobs into the captain spot. Now he is 12.5% owned. This is going to look way different than that first lineup. Barkley maintains McManus here as well. No randomness. We're going to get the 3 best plays that fit into 18,500. Anxious to see it. I expect to see Jalen Hurts here. After that, your guess is as good as mine. And I was wrong. 4-2 Packers, but no Jalen Hurts. We got Emmanuel Wilson, we got Jake Elliott, and we got Jordan Love instead of Hurts. So this lineup has no Jalen Hurts. It leaves $900 on the table, 82.75 projection, 197 ownership. So we went up in ownership by 2.5, fantasy points by 2.5. We went down in ownership by 2. Undoubtedly, this is going to be higher than the first one. 50s or 60s, maybe? Close. 38.9% sim ROI, still a 0.2% chance to win, 34% cash rate. You see how much higher that is now? That is solely because of Josh Jacobs. So we're off to an okay start. They're at least positive. What is Loughy cooking up for the final lineup? Because based on what we've seen so far, I'm expecting a lot of Eagles.
All right, the third and final perfect lineup, well, for this video at least, I will be posting an exclusive perfect lineup over to Tails, and I will make sure that we come up with something beautiful for tonight's slate. Follow us over on Tails. Download the app. The link is in the description to download the app in the App Store, the Google Play Store, or you can go to tails.bet. Make sure you're following Josh and myself for all of the free DFS content, all of the free bets. Like I said, all of our stuff all season long is 100% free. So if you're not following and if you don't have notifications on, not sure why. We're never going to ask you for anything outside of the come hang out, tail some bets with us, soak up some DFS content, and grab these exclusive perfect lineups. I'll be taking over the task of posting the exclusive lineups on Tails going forward because NBA is in full swing for Josh, and I figured I'd take that off of his plate. So come hit me up over on Tails. Give me a follow. If you're looking to get more of this content each and every day, all you got to do is create a free account on Tails, turn on notifications, and follow your favorites. All right, perfect lineup number 3. I want to captain Jordan Love. You know, Greg and I had a long discussion about this on the strategy show this morning. We do it every Monday and Thursday live at 10 o'clock Eastern time for all these Showdown sites. And I will say, we have a slightly different opinion on this. Greg doesn't love him at the captain spot because in order for a not immobile, but a guy who doesn't like to run at quarterback to get there, it's more likely that one of his receivers is going to have a big game and he'll be optimal at the captain spot instead of Love. I see it a little bit differently. Because you have no Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed, even Jaden Reed wasn't a big target share guy, I see the potential where you could really spread the ball around. I mean, you could see him spread it to Josh Jacobs, to Christian Watson, to Williams if he's out there, to Malik Heath, right? To obviously Romeo Doubs, Luke Musgrave. It's very possible that Jordan Love could spread the ball around enough today to where you have some of his pass catchers at optimal flex positions. And of course, we'll wait till the inactives report comes out an hour and a half before game time. But Jordan Love ends up being the optimal captain. So if that's the case, let's go Jordan Love captain, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson at flex. And I am going to plug Barkley back in here. Look, by the way, I like Jalen Hurts today. I have no problem with A.J. Brown and with Devontae Smith. I know I haven't thrown them into these lineups, but it's just the way these builds are working out for me when I do the preliminary spots. I feel like I have to go Barkley here because there is a path where Barkley has a big game, right? And the Eagles are dominating and they're going heavy run game or dominating, as far as like time of possession goes. And then Jordan Love is just forced to throw the ball a ton and often late in the game. And if that's the case, he might spread it around enough to guys like Dobbs, to guys like Watson, while Barkley on the other side has a great game. And this is a build that stands out to me as a pretty nice one where, realistically, you could still get one of Brown or Smith or Hurts in this lineup and just punt the final option. So let's see how it sims out.
Well, he zigged when I thought he was going to zag. 3 Packers, 1 Eagle. It's Barkley once again. Jordan Love into the captain spot. We get Dobbs and Watson, so just spreading it out to different pass catchers. 10K left. In theory, 5K for each spot. We got to fill them both. We're not using any randomness. I expect to see an Eagle here. It's not going to be Jalen Hurts because he's $1,000 more than we have for 2 spots left. I'm guessing we're going to see some names we're not used to. Defenses or kickers? Let's find out. And I was correct. Kickers for the right answer. McManus and Jake Elliott, $200 left on the table. 80 projection, 185 ownership, just to compare it. Similar projection to the first lineup. 12% less ownership, though. I'm guessing mid-30s to the 40s, and we're going to have a decent package of lineups to start. Boy, did I underestimate that one. We saved the best for last. 63% sim ROI, 0.3% chance to win, 30% cash rate. I appreciate what Loughy just did for me. This is a lot more Packers forward than I was expecting, and I appreciate a man who can get away from his favorite team a little bit. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know if it's the first one or the second one or the third one. It feels like the third one, but something you're getting here is perfect. If the Raiders would have won this game by 3, this list would be a lot bigger, but only 3 of you took the Broncos to win by 3, and now you are spinning on the wheel to find out who is going to win. And now we see if it's your name, and in this case, it's going to be Airbnb Rentals. If this is you, screenshot right now, email that to support@stokastic.com and claim your prize.